Yes, so here, in this section, we will be talking about our apparatus for chemistry, which is very, very important. Sometimes, students overlook that, this is very easy, we know it, but they tend to lose 1 or 2 marks because, in exam, every single mark is important. So here, when we are talking about this, okay, here we have what this is the glass beaker. As you can see here, we will be talking about the apparatus name and, then use of it. In the exam, labeling is also important because sometimes, what happens that, you label it, but spellings are not correct. And then, sometimes the students tell me that teacher in sciences, the spellings are not important, this and that. But I always tell them it still matters that, you write the correct spellings. So here, beaker, of course, beaker spellings are easier. Where, they will, have difficulty, it will be in burette, in pipette. You see, like here, burette spellings are not correct, right? Okay, so yeah, this is what something like, we will be correcting as well. Okay, what are the correct spellings for burette? By the way, burette, right? Okay. Then, here, what are we talking about? We have test tubes, right? You have that. We have graduated cylinder, okay? Graduated cylinder, measuring cylinder, okay? Yeah, you can name it. Then, you have flask. If particularly you say, you see, this is what, this is round bottom flask, right? We have the other type of flask, which is called flat bottom flask. It is going to be something like that. But as long as you are naming it flask, they will give you marks. There are some other kinds of flasks as well, like here, let me draw it. What is that? This is basically conical flask, right now. So this is conical flask. Okay, so different types of flask, and you can name it. Spelling of flask, they are still easier, FLASK. Then you have crucible and cover. What is it used? It is used to heat a small amount of solid material at high temperature. Okay, this is for solid material. For liquid, what do we use? We use evaporating basin, evaporating dish, right? So that is separate thing. Then we have alcohol burner. Sometimes we use alcohol burners, or we may also use Bunsen burners, right? Bunsen burner. So these burners are used for heat. Bunsen burners, right? Yeah, so these are used for heating. And when we are talking about this burette, okay, it is used in the preparation of solution. As I said, correct, the spellings are also important. Whenever we are talking about pipette or burette, it is used for accurate measurements. It is used for accurate measurements. And this is the very common question that they ask in the exam. What are the advantages and disadvantages of it? Later, on the screen, I'm going to take you on that. Okay, like what are the advantages and disadvantages of using burette or pipette? Let me, take you on the screen first. So here, what are we going to talk about? Very common questions in exam, common questions in exams. What do they ask? Okay, they ask about advantages of using measuring cylinder. Using measuring cylinder. So when we are talking about advantages of using measuring cylinder, it is quick or easy to use. Okay, these are the advantages. How about disadvantages? Disadvantages of using measuring cylinder. What is that? That it is inaccurate. It is what it is, inaccurate. Okay, it is not as accurate as burette or pipe, right? So these are the advantages, and this is the disadvantage. Now, come to the other side. Let's talk about advantage of using burette or pipette. Advantage of using burette, or we may also call it pipette, right? So what are they when we are talking about advantage? It is accurate. Okay, in fact, you can say it will be better if you are talking about more accurate, right? Because you are giving the comparison more accurate than measuring cylinder, or when we are talking about disadvantage, we will be talking about that it is slow. Yeah, this is something that you should talk about. In fact, when we are talking about slow, in fact, we should say slower, right? Because we are giving, what we are giving the comparison, right? So it will be better if we are writing slower. Slower than what? Basically, we are talking about slower than measuring cylinder. It is always good, to give all the details. Then, other than that, okay, in the exam, they might ask you sometimes, okay, this question, they ask you one thing, like, in terms of advantage or disadvantage. And, sometimes they may also ask you that how to improve the experiment, right? How to improve the experiment. This is also, common question. Or if there is any error, if there is any error, how to improve. So you might need to identify the error when they are doing measurements. Here how I'm gonna write my answer in terms of measurements. If they are using, what is the error in terms of measurements? The error is using measuring cylinder. Of course, if they are using in their experiment measuring cylinder, and what will be the improvement? The improvement of using measuring cylinder will always be use burette or pipette. Now, okay, so in terms of burette and pipette, you remember all these points that I have given you, that what are they, okay, where they can be used, because these are the very common questions that we do that in terms of measurement and in terms of improvement. Okay, since here we are talking about improving the experiment, when very common answer I want to tell you, okay, which is not related to this burette and pipette, but mostly 99% times it is applicable. What is that? How to improve the experiment if we are talking about, how to improve the experiment when they talk about, and what is the way? Repeat the experiment. This is very common thing. Repeat the experiment, okay? To do what? Write the complete answer, huh? Repeat the experiment to do what? To find average. To find average and reduce anomalies. Okay, yes. So this is the very common thing that we are going to do, and it is definitely going to help us in the exam. Now let's get back to our the apparatus list, where we were talking about more apparatus. Okay, so since we are back to our apparatus list, we have already discussed the advantages and disadvantages of using burette and pipette and measuring cylinder. Here, what do we have? We have pair of tongs, right? That would be better instead of tongs, we call it pair of tongs, right? And this is to hold something, as you can see, used to pick up or hold, right? Okay, then what do we have? Yes, we have evaporating dish. Just now we were talking about, if we have to heat a solid, we will be using crucible, right? But if we have to use some Liquid, we will use evaporating dish. While evaporating dish, because liquid, we want it to evaporate, we want it to escape, right? So we will heat it. Here, where will heating be applied? Heating will be applied here, right down there. So what will happen? There will be liquid here and it is gonna evaporate. So that is why it doesn't have any cover, right? And that is why it is called evaporating dish, because you want the solution to evaporate, right? To escape. Okay, then we have what? We have funnel. What is that? Yes, funnel, or it will be ideal if we call it filter funnel. Yes, filter funnel, and it will be fitted with what? It will be fitted with filter paper. It will be fitted with what? It will be fitted with filter paper. Usually, we use it for filtration. This is called what? This is called filter paper. Then, we will go for, okay, here we have watch glass, which may be used as a beaker cover, may be used in evaporation, okay, when very small amount of liquid is needed. But here, usually we don't go for much heating. For stronger heating, here we will be using this only, right? Okay, and then, yes, we have droppers. They will be used to transfer small amounts of liquids only, right? So this is all about our apparatus. We may also have some other apparatus, like we were talking about. Okay, let's say, for example, here in the list, we do not have gas syringe, isn't it? Gas syringe, which is used to collect gas. Okay, let me take you to the screen there so I can tell you about it. Okay, like just now, I was telling you, okay, about the gas syringe, which is not here. So you see here, this is the conical flask, right? Just now I have drawn for you. So now here, what we will have, this is what? This is delivery tube. Huh? Along the way, all the apparatus, we are learning. Yeah, this is important. So here, what do we have? And here, this is what is kind of like this. Like this, it go inside, and like this. And here is what? There is going to be scale. Yes, there is going to be scale. And what is the apparatus name when we are talking about? This is basically gas syringe. Gas syringe is for what? It is for, gas syringe is for collecting gas. Right, make sure that you are aware of correct spelling. This one I already told you that this is what? This is conical flask. And sometimes they ask you, like they give you the test tube or conical flask and ask you what apparatus are you going to connect with it in order to collect the gas. So you may show this gas syringe. Okay, one more thing. Gas, if you only here, gas syringe, it is used for collecting gas and for measuring, in fact, because just collecting can be done with the gas jar as well, right? For measuring, basically. Measuring for what? Measuring of gas for rate of reaction. For rate of reaction, right? So you can actually measure every minute or every 30 seconds how many mLs, okay, of gas, how many cm cubes of gas are being produced. So this is what you're gonna use this gas syringe to do for. Other than that, what do you have? This one, this is also the common apparatus which students usually forget. What is that? This is basically delivery tube. Delivery tube, delivery, right? So it is delivering, okay, via flask to the syringe. This is connecting. Okay, so this is delivery tube. We have conical flask and we have this gas syringe. These are the three of the main apparatus that you will need in order to go for your alternative to practical assessment. Alternative to practical paper. Other than that, what I was telling you here, conical flask, instead of using conical flask here test tube can also be used for the reaction, because your reaction contents will be here, right? So you can use test tube as well. Other than that, where I'm talking about this collection of gas syringe, here Measuring cylinder can also be used. Let me draw the apparatus for you. There is one more way of collecting the gas. What is that? Here you have this, right? This is also kind of delivery tube, right? My diagram's very big, right? Okay, and here how it is kind of like here. What do we have? This is basically our measuring cylinder, right? Okay, this is how, here will be collected. This is measuring cylinder. So of course, there will be scale. Okay, this is what this is, measuring cylinder. Gases can be collected like this too. Okay, what is this? This is water trough. Right, and again, what is this? This is delivery tube. In alternative to practical paper, you would need all this, right? And here, your contents, right? Your reactants. And again, what is this? This is conical flask. Instead of measuring cylinder, you may want to use gas jar as well, right? How will you differentiate between measuring cylinder and gas jar? Because gas jar also, it will look like this, right? But the main difference that, gas jar will have, what will it be? It will not have any scale on it. Okay, it will also, look like this. Okay, upside down I have drawn. Okay, so this is the gas jar, but what is the difference in these two? That, it will not have any scale. Yeah, this was also one of the question that, what is making it, different, how these two are different apparatus, right? So I think so, yeah, we have done quite many of the apparatus here.